Hello everybody, my name is Hero of Warfare and welcome back to another one of my siege defense guides. And today we're covering number 2 on my Immortal Empires list, which is the Wood Elves. And we're playing as the Sisters of Twilight, but it doesn't really matter who you play as, there's not really much of a difference. And as per usual, we will first go through the garrisons and then jump into some replays. So, except for the major forests, the forest settlements, all of the other ones are just minor settlements like this one, more like outposts, that's what they call them. So you have some garrison from the initial building, and then you have a choice between these 4. So the one on the left here, Waystone, that provides the most garrison and the best. But you will also you will get some garrison from at least this one, Dryads and Bladeguard, and you won't get any garrison from these 2. So if you expect it to come under siege, guess this one is the best one, but they all provide very good bonuses, so it really just depends what you want. Yeah, and resource buildings is of course really good for money and trade partners, but yeah, for the best garrison, the Waystone is obviously the best. And with the forests, there is pretty good garrison buildings or defensive buildings. So here you get a lot of garrison, but you also get upkeep reduction for armies in the region, and you get double the ammunition, and you get extra reload time reduction. So yeah, that will increase the damage a lot on your archers, and you can get some war dancers with this one. And obviously you get a lot of garrison from the main building, at least when you level it up. So you can just see here, it's a pretty decent garrison. And yeah, this is just from the main building. I haven't bought or built any defensive buildings there, because if you are playing your campaign right, you won't really be coming under siege. So yeah, the garrisons are pretty decent because your infantry and your units are really strong. And I'm gonna show you one minor siege battle, aka, I mean, they're not walled cities, you don't have walled cities, but what I call minor siege is one of these outposts, and major siege is one of these forest battles. So let's jump right into it, shall we? Alright, so this is one of those outposts. Here you can see I have a small army and a very small garrison, only the garrison that you get from the settlement building, because this is a harbor settlement. So I have a very small garrison, and as you can see, this is not Wood Elf units, this is Bretonnia units that I have gotten from an outpost. But yeah, this is also a Lore of Life magic, or yeah, magic wielder. So this is something that I can recommend if you see that you're coming under siege in the near future. Just hiring a mage wielder and maybe recruiting some outpost units can be really helpful, because if you don't go for any of the recruitment buildings, you won't be able to recruit locally in the outposts. So since this was initially a dark elf settlement, that is the type of layout, and I have decided to go for defending this position because I find it the easiest to defend, because this is a very chokehold defensive position there. You can build a barricade there, so that way we can wrap up this side, and then they will only come down from here, and you can of course build some towers to help. And it's a relatively big map, as you can see, so they have to walk all the way over here because they will always try to capture some points along the way. So that will give me, I don't know, 5-7 minutes or something before they come over here. So that will give me a lot of time to wrap up this side. So we have some peasant bowmen, some glade guards, some deepwood scouts, some spearmen at arms, some wildwood rangers, some dryads, and a shrieking unit. And she has Earthblood and Awakening of the Woods, and of course Life Bloom, that's the passive. So the Necropolis Knights are the most dangerous unit that they have. So fortunately for me, they charged in ahead of everyone else, like the typical AI behavior. right into my spears, and my archers could just take them apart. And when it comes to the towers for the Wood Elves, yeah, they kind of suck, to be honest. They are all just arrow towers. The tier 2, which costs 900 supplies, it does poison damage, so I guess you get something else out of it. But yeah, all the tiers are just arrow towers, and they just increase a little bit in damage. So nothing really good there. And you know, there's nothing special about the barricades either. So the Wood Elves, they are very weak in defending these minor sieges, especially if the enemy brings a larger force. But the units you get from the garrison are decent at least, so you can at least deal some damage to enemies. If you want to like halt the progress of a really strong army, if they're trying to take your outposts like this, you can play it manually, and your archers will at least be able to kill off a few important units. So the deepwood scouts have stalk, so you can really surprise the enemy and kill off some of their most important units. So as you can see here, they're just clumping up, and I'm using Awakening of the Wood, which is a decent spell, not a lot of damage, but you know, decent. And I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit. So yeah, the balance of power isn't that bad. Their army was a little bit attritioned, and of course a lot of the skeleton warriors and stuff are not exactly great units. So here you can see the Hekara horsemen are coming in, and they're capturing a lot of the points. One of the dangerous units here is of course Grand Hierophant Ketep, because he has 3 uses of the Sandstorm spell, which is pretty decent against infantry, and yeah, he's, I guess, decent on his own, but yeah, that spell is very dangerous if you blob up. So that was something I was trying to avoid, but I didn't completely avoid it. You will see in a few minutes. But yeah, this is like one of the strategies you can use. You can of course try to recapture points and stuff, but even though your units are relatively fast with 38 speed, you will get outrun by a lot of units. Yeah, so here Ushapti, that is of course the army ability of the Tomb Kings. Really something you have to watch out for, because they will usually spawn it on your archers. And yeah, I had to send in my spearmen, try to keep them occupied, which it works out alright. They don't get a lot of kills, but yeah, really dangerous, because if you don't pay attention, they can just wipe out your archers in the back line. And here you can see I'm just sending in my Laurel, because with earth blood and stuff, you can just heal her up. And the archers are actually one of the most dangerous units they have, because they have really good like line of sight from up here to shoot down at my guys. So yeah, they're shooting on the tower a little bit, but I don't think they destroy it now. They come over here and shoot down on my dryads and stuff. Really bad. Can't really do much except for try to shoot back. So yeah, here they clump up, and I am just trying to avoid their archer damage. Use Awakening of the Wood, which is decent, and yeah, the towers, they are not really helping a lot. They're doing very little damage. So yeah, here you can see I have blobbed up a little bit, and right in a few seconds come the sandstorm, the root sandstorm. So yeah, I focus fire on Ketep, or at least I try to, but some of my guys are out of ammo. So this is really hard for me to decide who I'm going to target. And it's yeah, kind of a desperation move. I send everyone in trying to kill Ketep, but that just means he has the perfect opportunity to use his Sandstorm ability. There you can see. So that kind of wrecks my units really bad. So that was a big mistake on my side, but I was just desperate to hold this choke point, because if they get through here, then it's done for. So my archers have a little bit of ammunition left, and just enough to do enough damage to him so he dies. And after he dies, very little, it takes very little for them to get a morale penalty and start crumbling away, and that's kind of the chain reaction that happens, and there I win. So kind of lucky. I made a few mistakes, but at least that's the strategy I have been using and has been most efficient in these minor sieges. Just holding 1 point, maybe using the vanguard on my deepwood scouts and dryads and stuff to take out certain archers or something like that. But other than that, you can't hold these minor sieges or outposts very well. There's just not enough tools for you to work with, but at least there is something you can do. Alright, so insane Wood Elves defense versus Chinman. I guess you all know who I'm talking about, right? The big Chinman. So of course it is versus the Fekendites, excuse me. So Festus is the reinforcing army, and they have a lot of strong units, as you can see. Fortunately for me, I had a few extra units, so not just the garrison, which prompted the ability to control large army, which of course I clicked off, so that means there were only going to be 20 units on both sides at any given time. So even though they have a lot of units coming in here, and you can see 2 beasts of Nurgle, a giant, chaos warriors, trolls, and of course Festus himself is really strong. So taking the control large army off was key to winning this. I did have, where did I send them? Yeah, I had some of the Regiment of Renown, which turned very vital to winning this. But as you can see, the Wood Elves settlements are, you know, a lot bigger than, or I don't know if they're bigger than in Warhammer 2, but at least you have some of these supply points at least to defend, and they have to come through here or here. So kind of easy to defend if you have enough troops, but the towers and the barricades and stuff, they won't help much. So you just have to try to funnel them in and pummel them with archer fire. And here you can see they send in their plague drones. They're just gonna get wrecked by my infantry. And something that you should be aware of is the Wildwood Rangers. They have this ability here, Guardians of the Wildwood. So if they are in a forest, they get bonus versus large and charge defense versus large. So you should try to keep them in the forest here, and that way they will be a little bit stronger against everything that is large. So that will help a fair bit. So I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit. Nothing super like advanced tactics or anything like that. Just use my archers, focus fire the unarmored units that have like high impact, like this guy for example, Bilious Thunderguff, the Chaos Giant Regiment of Renown for the Chaos Warriors or Warriors of Chaos, and the Chaos Spawn, really dangerous unit, and you can see how my guys are just getting wrecked basically. So this is gonna be a really difficult fight. It's going down to nail and teeth. But here you can see I'm focus firing the giant. Really important to get rid of him. He has a really powerful ability against infantry as well, where he farts on them. His farts are deadly. Someone like that you know maybe? So yeah, while I'm holding that side, they sent in their Chaos Warhounds over on this side, which I mopped up pretty handedly. And I also sent my cavalry around here and flanked them, which, you know, made quick work of them. And their Chaos Warriors, or their Sorcerer rather, on a horse coming in here, and since I had spears, they do a fair amount of damage to him, so that worked out pretty well. And some Marauders and some Plague Bearers, not the greatest threat, so I'll just use my archers to take care of them. So this side was going pretty well, this side was going not so well, so I'm pulling back a little bit, my infantry was getting overwhelmed. I did kill the giant, but Aspiring Champion's really strong. This guy on a war shrine pretty strong. This guy is also very strong, and the Beast of Nurgle, Chaos Spawn, like, they are very strong, and there's not much I can do about it. Here you can see the Chin Man is coming, so I had one thought in mind. I can't let him get into melee and just use his healing or direct damage like throughout the fight. That would mean instant loss for me basically. So once he got close enough, I focused fire him down and went for the chin basically. So over here I built some towers. This is the tier 2 tower, which have poison contact effect, so at least you will get like an extra benefit, I guess, to your side. And this stupid army ability for the Nurgle aligned Warriors of Chaos, really annoying when I want to bring all these guys over to this side. So building some barricades here just to make sure that they don't just come in and capture this point, because having only 3 capture points makes it really easy for the enemy, or if you are the attacker, to easily capture these points and just win the battle that way. So that's something you have to be really careful about when either attacking or defending these settlements. So this guy is pretty slow, especially since he is okay, he's not tired, I guess, but he's moving through trees and he's being poisoned, so yeah. I'm focus firing him and I'm sending my cavalry around, I think. Where are they? There they are, getting a little bit caught on the cliff, but yeah, they have anti-large. This guy has bonus versus large 5 and this guy has 18. So yeah, I'm sending them in to kill this guy because they will do a much better job than these deepwood scouts. And yeah, I can fast forward a little bit now. They are waiting a little bit for their reinforcements. So I guess fortunate for me, so I can take them away a little bit piece by piece. Especially since I won pretty handedly on this side. But here comes the Chin Man. So he's going over that way. And I'm just building tier 2 towers everywhere I can basically. Because of the poison effect, I just want to slow them down as much as possible. So here's one of the beasts of Nurgle taken down, and the aspiring champions. I use a little bit of cycle charging and just some archers to deal with them. And my reinforcements have come in, so a new fresh unit that's really going to help out. But yeah, I have lost most of my infantry, as you can see. They're pretty much donezo. But I have pulled back the ones that were on this side, so now they have to either break through these barricades or come in over here. So I'm trying to just defend the what's it called, the key building here. And it's going pretty well. I would, like, when I was fighting this, I was feeling a little bit more optimistic at this point, but just you wait, because things get ugly. So yeah, I send off the heroes and the aspiring champions and stuff. Since it's so close to the routing area, it's really effective to just chase them off instead of using precious ammo. So yeah, here Chaos Warriors with a lot of armor. They are gonna be tough to take down. A lot of Chaos Warriors with a lot of health because they are marked by Nurgle. And here we have some Marauders, so I see this. They are very easy to take out with my cavalry. So I send my cavalry back here, charge them in, take them around and flank them. Excuse me. And that makes like 4 or 5 units pretty useless, or taking them out of the fight. And here comes the Chin Man. I see that. I focus fire all my guys on him and use my lord and some of my melee infantry to just keep my archers as safe as possible while I take out this guy, because he can be very dangerous. So fortunately for me, I managed to take him out relatively easy. And now I see, okay, a Beast of Nurgle and a Giant. That's like the biggest threats right here, because terror and regeneration and of course a lot of health. So I'm just trying to pull back my archers and focus fire, and you can see my archers do a lot of damage. So trying to split them up a little bit, because these stupid Nurglings won't leave me alone. Over here, almost wrapped up, and my cavalry was trying to get rid of some other units, and they actually get caught a little bit on some freaking Nurglings, and the Nurglings actually do a lot of damage, which was really annoying, but probably because my guys were exhausted and were fighting kind of in a hill, so I had no choice other than to just engage and then try to cycle charge, which works out, but I lost way more than I wanted to. And here they have more freaking Chaos Warhounds coming in, which is really bad, and another Beast of Nurgle. So yeah, right now when I'm fighting I am really sweating. So I'm pulling back my archers to this point. I'm kind of just letting them have this point, but they're not actually going for it, which is, I guess, fortunate for me. And this unit right here, Chaos Trolls with armor, they are really dangerous. So at this point I'm really sweating. I'm like, okay, we've done a lot, but we're not out of it yet, as you can see from the balance of power. So I knew I had to take down the Giant, the Beast of Nurgle, and try to wrap up with some of these Chaos Warriors. So fortunately for me, I have some Blade Guard, aka anti-large with spears. So I sent everything in to hold the Chaos Giant in check, while my archers kind of punching down, which works out just fine. But here comes the Chaos Warhounds, and since my guys are so exhausted from battling, the Warhounds actually do quite well. So at this point I kinda have to just try and rout them with force, or yeah, keep them off my archers basically. Which they do get into it, but yeah, Chaos Warhounds are not great if they don't like isolate a target. So at this point it's getting so close, really down to the last nail. And here you can see the Chaos Trolls, they went all the way around, which kind of took me off guard a little bit, got me a little bit surprised. So I pull my archers back, because I don't want them to get engaged by the trolls. And you can see my cavalry are just getting destroyed. Kind of weird that the ethereal cavalry didn't have unbreakable. I wish they had. Yeah, the Beast of Nurgle and the Chaos Trolls, they are now the biggest threat. But I have just a little bit of ammunition left, so I was really focusing on using it properly. And thanks to the low leadership of trolls, I managed to take them out. And I managed to get the Beast of Nurgle to chase some of my Glade Guards over here. And using the last of my ammunition on this guy, and the tower's helping a little bit. And right there is the army losses. So that was, yeah, a Pyrrhic victory, but it was kind of a heroic victory, you know, because I was really up against an overwhelming amount of numbers and strength, and we managed to pull out a win. So I was really happy with this win, and that just shows you that the Wood Elves are way stronger in Immortal Empires, where you can defend your wood, or your forests rather. And yeah, the strategy is really just to use your archers to focus down unarmored targets that have a lot of strength, like giants, trolls, beasts of Nurgles, whatever, right? And take down the highest threats first, and use your towers with poison. For the most part, if it drags on long enough, you can upgrade it to like tier 3 or tier 4, because they have more damage. But I really like the poison to slow down, make the enemy do less damage because of the the weapon damage goes down and stuff like that. So yeah, there's not really a lot to it. Just use the forest bonus when you have units that gets a bonus from fighting in the forests, like I had over here. And I recommend holding this point because they will like go into these chokeholds, and for some reason I feel like they always send in the weakest units on this side and the strongest on this side. I don't know why, but that at least makes it so you can wrap up on this side and then move on back to hold the middle here. But yeah, that's everything for today with the Wood Elves. Not a lot of strategy involved, to be honest, or tactics, but you know, these forests you can build a lot of stronger garrisons. This was a confederated from the Lorelorn forest, you know, where the Reichland and all those guys are. So I didn't really have a built-up forest or a built-up garrison or anything like that. So this was really just winging it, and we managed to pull out the win, which was really, really great. So I hope you guys can do the same in your campaigns. This was of course on legendary difficulty with very hard battle, and I'll see you all next time. Have a great day and goodbye.